Hey, what's up, and welcome to the All-In Networker Podcast. This podcast started because myself, Dan McCabe, had a question. The question was, how do you build a big team fast in network marketing? So I asked a good mentor of mine, Dr. David Pietsch, who is a Hall of Famer, 250,000 customers in his downline, tens of thousands of representatives, and he just started spilling the beans. Started telling me everything, not just what worked in the past, but what he is doing in the future to really grow and build his business. I said, hey doc, this needs to be a thing. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, we're gonna turn this into a podcast. So here it is, the secret straight from his mouth into your ears. Whatever we can do to help you and the industry grow is what we're here for. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's get started. Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to the All-In Networker Podcast. So we had a blast on our last episode. I hope you listened to it. If you have not yet listened to it, you need to go back and listen to that one with Tony and Sarah Zolecki. They were absolute rock stars. 800 customers in their company. 800,000 customers in their company. And I've got to say, it's one of the more impressive conversations that I've ever had with anyone. I've got all the respect for my co-host over here, Dr. David Pietsch, and we've had some great conversations as well. But I know you were pretty impressed as well with some of the systems and things like that they had set up. What were a couple of your takeaways from that conversation? What did you leave? Because I know you were really paying attention during that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, first impression was they're just absolute professional network marketers. I mean, from the time that I invited them to come on the podcast, to being on time, to just everything that a professional networker needs to know, they are. And I would just say that they're about as ahead of the curve as anybody that I'm aware of in network marketing when it comes to systems and just being current with technology and what's available and how to build online. I mean, they are just probably the pinnacle that I could have ever had come on here. So it was just fun to watch, people do it a different way than I have over my career over the last 13 years.
That's right. And I think that's what we really dialed in on during that talk. And that was some of my takeaways, is that, there's not just one way all of the time. And I think that's what a lot of people are starting to realize, is that there are multiple ways to build network marketing businesses in this modern era that we live in. And, one of my favorite quotes from Sarah, and this is kind of, this is what was the catalyst was for this episode, and what I brought up as kind of a topic to talk about, is that they said as they were starting to make these shifts and changes in the model of how they did business, because they'd been in the business, they'd been network marketing for over 20 years, 27 years, if I did my math right on that. And it was 7 years ago they started making this shift. They were 20 years in when they decided to start making some changes into their business. And she talked about how scary it was to start making some of those changes, adding some different tools, adding some different systems. But then she had a great line. She's like, whenever I feel that fear, that pit in my stomach, that something's getting uncomfortable, and I start getting that big fear because I got this big change coming, I also know that with big change comes big results. And that line just really stuck with me, all the way through. I wrote it down right here. As soon as she said it, I was like, it makes sense, because so often when people enter this business, everything is kind of a big change to them, but it can lead to whatever those next results are. So that was by far my favorite line. What do you have to kind of add to that, or what else does that kind of spur in your mind?
Well, they're just living proof that, times are changing and things are evolving and rolling forward. And for those people that are just stuck in doing it one way, they're going to get left in the dust long term. Dan, we live in a world now where we're locked down because of COVID, and I think that'll just continue on in the future. And so I just think that, just for my own company, we just canceled another one of our live events, so we're not able to get together again. And I'm sure we won't be able to do it again in the fall because the election's coming, and there'll be all sorts of tension and arguing back and forth. I'm sure we won't be able to do a big event in January like we normally do. So I just think that building online and doing things like we do right here, you and I get online every single day and chat via Zoom. And, I just think that things have changed. And so, I think that watching people grow is what network marketing is really all about. And I just think that those two had vision a number of years ago that most people didn't have. And that's why they're so far ahead of the curve compared to the masses of people. Because, listen, 800,000 customers. That's a huge number. I've had $250,000 come into my team over 13 years, and I get it. We're not selling the same product, not even close, but still that's a huge number. And they've got a
Mhm.
massive base of just customers. And it's a machine that they built one time and they just kind of wound it up and just let it go. And now they don't really have to do that much. And that's
Right.
just, that's rock and roll.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about network marketing. They put in their time, they built the machine, they pressed play, and they worked really hard to get it going. I mean, you talk to them when they first started launching different groups and marketing and customer acquisition programs, as she called them, into their organization. Like, they worked hard, but they worked hard. They built the machine, and then they created that duplication, replication in their business. And when you build the right kind of machine, the right kind of systems, then you've got something that becomes scalable. And that's what they did. They created a scalable machine. They created
Yeah,
a machine.
the difference between them and me is I have focused on building leaders over the last 13 years, and just taking people and just having them be just like me ultimately, where they kind of go the complete opposite. They're not trying to get anybody to be a leader. They're just taking Joe Sixpack who just signs up and getting them to do a basic thing that they can do,
Right.
And so they're not worried about scripts and personal development, any of that kind of stuff. It's just truly a systematized machine that they have built that anybody can plug into. And it was just quite fascinating to watch.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And neither way is wrong. I mean, people get taught different things in this industry all the time. And you built a massive organization doing it your way, and now it's seeing how the way other people are doing things. I mean, they're both right, but I think one of the things when you and I came together here in 2019 and started talking about this, it was about how do we start adding some of this into your business, because you realize that there is a shift happening. You're never going to get 800,000 customers need coffee shops with laptops. It doesn't work that way anymore. But right now we've got this opportunity with the internet and with systems to where we can really go after the masses and get people signing up on their own, where we're not even necessarily having, a personal touch with them before they sign up. Sometimes they might sign up 4 or 5 people before we have that first personal touch with them. So times are definitely just changing significantly, and they dialed that part in. And what I liked about what they did was they recognized the need for change and they made a change. And on a much lower level, we were having this conversation again later in the day yesterday after that interview, and it just reminded me of it. We were talking to some different people that were talking about their presentation and things like that, and why can't I close more people? And sometimes that change starts right there. If you do something enough times and it's not working, don't do it again. Make a change, make an iteration, change something. Change is going to be happening consistently from the smallest little elements of your business to the big picture in the overall, the global ecosystem you're creating, which is your business, all the time. It's constantly needs to happen. If you're not doing it, eventually you're doomed.
Yeah. I mean, Dan, I think ultimately, they are a combination of, what I am building leaders, because they are most certainly leaders and they have got a ton of leaders on their team. But at the same time, they've also got incredible systems. And so I just think that is where network marketing is going to go if you want to be a big player and make the big money. And, so and talking about the person that was worried about, not being, not getting a lot of duplication on their team. Look, I think at the end of the day, you just have to look yourself in the mirror and just go, would I sign up with you? And can other people edify me as their coach and their mentor? And so if not, then just start working on yourself massively, because I think that's an honest conversation that everybody has to have with themselves, because there is, an element to it. I mean, there has to be somebody that's the leader on the team. I mean, I know there's Zoleckis, they got lots of rock stars, so you can't just say everything's got to be a system, because there has to be
Right.
some credible people in there. So it is a combination of both.
Yeah. Well, it's creating a system, and it's creating, it's when you're developing leaders and kind of what you're talking about there, it's in creating and working on yourself. That is something that absolutely needs to happen. But within the systems, what you are able to do, especially online these days, is it becomes a little bit easier to paint that picture of something that I can help you do. Like I can paint that picture of you seeing yourself doing what I'm doing right now. When it becomes about online and about systems, and like I don't need you to go and do the crazy massive stuff. Like you went out and, anybody who listens to this podcast regularly, anybody who's been in your world knows you did the presentation for your company, your product 1,000 days in a row. But we don't necessarily need to ask people to do that. They're not asking people to do that in their organization anymore. They're saying, here's our systems. Here's the 1, 2, 3 simple things you need to do to start plugging people into that system. And so they're able to paint a very, very realistic picture. And anybody can do this. Anybody can develop the systems in order to create simple things that their team can do. Within your team and your organization, we talk about it all the time, the 1 day, 7 day, 90-day thing. It's here's 1 day's worth of things I want you to go do. We try to get people, we try to give them a little bit of a test in the very, very beginning and see if they've got, the mettle to go out there and become like that hardcore leader. We want to see who the drivers are. But, if they get through that first day and they haven't really done anything, well, here's some other tools. Here's some other easier systems that you can plug into. Just do something. What can we do to get you to do simple stuff? I mean, if everybody on your team just got 3 people, how nice would that be?
Yeah, well, that would be heaven on earth, Dan.
Right. And I have a feeling there's big leaders on the Zolecki's team, but what they did really, really well was they set up systems. This was the craziest thing. Maybe you remember this. They said that 35% of their sales come from customers who aren't representatives referring other customers.
Yeah.
So think about that. That's providing them value, as a representative, as a team, as an organization, as a leader. That's providing people that are in your community, people that are buying products within your organization. That's providing them additional value and giving them an easy system. You provide them value, they're excited. People want to refer your stuff. If they like your stuff, if they believe in your stuff the way you do, they might not want to be a representative. They might not care about that. But if they really like the stuff, they're happy to refer it out there. And do they have an easy system to refer and get more customers in? That was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and again, just looking back over the last 6 or so months that we've kind of shifted much more into the Zolecki direction, doing stuff systematized. I mean, we just watched a lot of people go through and put in massive numbers, in my organization. So it's not like it's on trial. It absolutely works.
Right. And it is. I mean, the simplest and kind of the catalyst, for the people that are watching this on YouTube, if you're not, you can always go watch it. I'm just holding up a book, doesn't really matter. But we created, the first system I know we created, this was like the backbone of everything, all in for 90. And it's a very organized system of 90 days that people can go through. And we developed that, and we were just trying to give them some structure, because a lot of people want that structure. A lot of people aren't as self-motivated as we'd like to think they are. One of the hardest things I found in my 20 plus years now of entrepreneurship is that I'm a very motivated, very self-motivated person. And I just like to assume that everybody's like me, but they're not. A lot of people come from corporate backgrounds. A lot of people come from different backgrounds where they don't have this internal drive and internal motivation. But all of a sudden, if you stick something like our All In for 90 book, or something that's structured, like, here's what you do today, and they do that. And they're like, great, I can do that. And then the next day, they flip the page. Here's what you do today. And they just follow that system every single day. People can see that, and it helps steer them in the direction of ultimately becoming that person that starts seeing some results. And results are a really good motivator. Results will help you get motivation for more results in the future, but we got to get them to do, get them to do something. That's why I love what we did there. But yeah, it's like you said, we've been shifting that direction because the world and the industry of network marketing is just shifting that direction. If you're not going there, it's like you said, we're going to be left in the dust.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many people. I mean, I've been doing this for so long. They're in, they want to do it. They have no idea what to do. I mean, for most people, they've got so many different apps of training that they can send people to, or websites, and, it's just all over the place. And they just get so overwhelmed that they do nothing. And it's just one step at a time. And so since we've, done that for my own team, Dan, I just feel like we truly do have a system that people can plug into. Mm-hmm. Whether you're a leader or you're a dud, you can get in and at least you know what to do on a daily basis, and then right. If you truly follow the system and if you really did the things that we lay out for you, you're going to put yourself in the best position to win. And that's all you can ever do.
All right. And those systems, they do a couple of things for you. So one, yes, they provide people with a system. So the people that want to plug in will plug in. Two, they provide this system that the people that want to plug in but aren't plugging in, they see it there, and they keep watching it, and they know, well, at least it's always there. So it's like right there whenever I decide to do it, but they stick around longer because at least they know they can do it and they can see themselves, doing it. And three, it almost helps you and helps people within the team engage more, and it develops more of a sense of a community around a thing. Like we got the systems, and then people have something to talk about. They have something to hold each other accountable for. Like it's definitely, I would say over the last 6 months, 7 months since we started launching out the systems, it's created a lot more engagement in the Facebook groups, people showing up, people congratulating each other, people that aren't even on the same team supporting each other. I don't know. What's your perspective on that? Because it's your team.
Well, it helps with retention 1,000,000% because it keeps people around, because at least they know that they can go to a place where they learn more how to do the business. And then what happens is we have people that are winning. So it's this upward spiral of people ranking up and people making money, and it's just a trend upwards compared to, I think, most people in network marketing. It's maybe you're treading water and you're constantly, they're coming in the bucket as fast as they're going out. And so I've just seen, the retention on my own team and the number of people ranking up over the last 7 months is like anything that I've seen in my 13 years. And again, I set all the records in my company, and we had massive momentum in the beginning, but I've got people on my team that are building way faster now than I ever did 13 years ago.
Right. And yeah, I like to believe, and I do believe that systems definitely, and the creation of those play a part of that in creating that community. You said a lot of people in network marketing tread water, and that's true for a lot of people in a lot of different different companies and things like that. But that has a lot to do with the days of, hey, like I'm doing a big shop meeting in the back of a hotel somewhere. We got this presenter flying in, and you try and grab one or two of your friends and you get them there. They get excited, they get motivated. They might even sign up. There's a good chance they sign up. A lot of times those closers, the people flying in, you yourself are one of them, doctor, but you fly in and you can get people excited and get people motivated, and they sign up. Well, then they leave with their friend and they don't get plugged into a system. Then that person they're truly treading water, because that new person that signed up doesn't really know what to do. They don't plug in. There's no way to create duplication around that. You can't drag them completely. You can't call them 6 times a day and wonder why they aren't calling you back. Like eventually they just don't have the same motivation as you do. It's how quickly after you get somebody signed up can you get them plugged into a system and a community that they get excited about, that is consistently dripping on them, that energy that they need to stay charged up. Otherwise, they're going to see their credit card bill ding next month and be like, do I really want to do that? 2 months later, see it ding again. Like, I got to quit that thing.
Yeah. Dan, I just think, just right off the top of my head, just the fact that we do, 5 days a week, a 10-minute huddle call in the morning with our team, there's so much value just in that, because every single day they're learning more and more and more how to do the business, when we're addressing their questions. And we've put together a platform that allows people to really, truly learn how to be a professional networker. But everything goes back to, okay, just do what we've already laid out for you in the 90-day plan, because it's just do the 90-day plan over and over and over again. Just get more people doing it with you all the time. That's it.
Yeah. It's interesting being, the co-author with you on the All In for 90, and I lead a lot of those huddle calls, and we do them together all the time. And like I flip through there, and like I realize, we're saying the same things over and over again, but these are the things they need to hear. Like it's a true system in that we get through the 90 days. We got the first 30 days where it's, building belief. The next 30 days, it's building skills. The final 30 days, it's building leaders, which is really all about getting more people into the next 90 days. But we have this guide. Like, I don't sit there and write out what we're going to talk about on the huddle call for a half hour beforehand. We jump on the huddle call. We flip open the page, be like, all right, here is today's lesson. We recap that really quick. Maybe anything that's relevant, current events within the industry or within the company. And, we're off to the races. We're in and out of there, 8 minutes sometimes, maybe as long as 15 minutes if you and I are really on fire and just have a lot to say that day. But it's something anybody can do. If you were to give your business, people that are aspiring leaders in this industry, you got a couple hundred people on your team, 500 people on your team, you have a Facebook group. If you could create a community of people that can show up and listen to a 5-10 minute call every single day, it's rock and roll. It's just going to help. It's going to create that culture, that community. It's when we jump onto those huddle calls, and when you're watching the chat logs, everybody's saying hi to each other. they're all becoming their own friends. They're becoming their world. They are like, it's bringing everyone together that wouldn't be together otherwise. It's just, there's so many benefits to it. For 10 minutes a day, how hard do you work to get that next presentation, that next appointment, that next meeting that you can have? You know, if you get people into the system, give them the time of day. It's a lot easier to retain and grow somebody that already said yes to the business than go find that next yes.
I mean, Dan, anything that you don't romance dies. And so we just romance our team every single day. We're just in constant communication, you know, with things that happen, things that are going on. I mean, just like today, I had to announce to everybody the boot camp is going to be online for us rather than a live event. And, you know, it's just communication. And it's a team, it's a family, and people want that in their life. They want to be part of something bigger than themselves. And it ends up being your social life too. And so it's great. That's why I love network marketing.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's amazing how many people stick around just because of that. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's funny. I talk to people all the time. They've been in for 4 or 5 years. They've attended every major event, 4 of them a year, and they've put 3 people in. Like, and you question yourself, like, why would they keep doing that? But it's because it's their social circle. People do it for different reasons. And that's okay. Right. They want to keep showing up. That's the community we want to create. We need people at all levels. One of the biggest things I see network marketers do wrong is when they get mad at that person who's been in for 4 years that's only put in 3 people. Like, don't give that person a hard time. Like, they showed up. They're part of the fun. They're there for the fun. They're probably instigating the fun. We need those people as well. We need them along with the drivers.
Yeah, I mean, Dan, for me, I just want a whole bunch of people that pay their monthly membership fees because I don't care, you know, like, and I'm not calling these people duds because, I mean, it's just not high on their priority list if they have 3 people in over 4 years. So they're not bad people. But, you know, I used to say all the time, I'll take thousands and thousands of duds in tandem because, again, I don't care where they come from. If they're paying their monthly fees and I'm getting a residual, that's rock and roll. You know, I provide a ton of value for them because I do bring people together and I do create their social life for them, you know, and I am teaching them all the time. And I've had so many people on my team that, you know, because we've taught them things about how to build their network marketing business, they've taken that knowledge, gone out and done traditional businesses and done incredibly well. So again, the stuff that we teach people is real life stuff and has a real impact in a lot of areas of their life.
Oh, absolutely. I remember my first foray into network marketing back in 2007. I remember going through the trainings in that company and being blown away. Nothing to do with the company or the product, but going through I was in my mid-20s at the time, and the sales training and this business skills that they were teaching me, that I was like I was in my mid-20s. I was always big into personal development. I had just gone to a seminar where I spent $2,000 to be there for a weekend. And I'm going through the network marketing company's training. I'm like, this is better than what I just spent $2,000 for. And I just got myself in this company. Like, network marketing is a beautiful thing from the top down, because at the top, they understand we train you really well. We give you everything that we got, and you make more money. We make more money. And all the way down to the leaders and the representatives, we train you really well to train your people really well, and you go train your people really well, then you make more money. You can go help people make money, and like, you go help them live their dreams, and you're just naturally going to do well and make more money. It just makes so much sense. So anyways, we don't need to sell the industry to people listening to the All In Networker podcast. They're already into it. You guys get it.
I saw some jackwagon post something on one of my friends' Facebook yesterday. She was, you know, bragging about her company or something. And he's like, oh, well, I'd be interested as long as it's not, you know, network marketing. And because he said, I don't like ripping people off. And I just thought, this man is a fool. You don't know the first thing about network marketing. You don't know the first thing about business and serving people. And, you know, it's just like, here's what I know about myself. I have probably outworked and outstudied, you know, and sacrificed more than 99.9% of the people on my own team. You know, I get up earlier, I stay up later. I've done things so I can learn a lot of information so I can pass it on to them essentially for free. You know, and what they really get is they get me working for them for the rest of their life. And so, you know, the person that wrote that, he's just a fool. But again, you know, just let those people go. We don't need everybody. But if you really understand what network marketing is, the only way that you win is if you help other people. So there's no scam going on there. And what's the scam? I mean, most network marketing companies, as we all know, cost probably less than $50 to be a rep. I mean, what are you really out there, you jackwagon? You know, so don't let anybody ever say that to you.
Right. It's, you know, one of my big one of the, I don't think I've talked about this on this podcast. I'm sure you and I have talked about it in the past, but one of the big things that got me to make the shift into this industry versus I was in real estate, and I still have a little bit of real estate, but I was a real estate investor for 20 years. I started when I was 19 years old. I got really, really good at it. I built a pretty reasonable, substantial business. And we started doing seminars and we started teaching people how to do it because I've always been around this education and training field. I've always had an attraction to it. And I just remember like seeing people come through our classes and they would pay us big, crazy coaching fees, all those things you hear about, tens of thousands of dollars. They would pay us to coach them. But certain people, there is people that would pay it. And you just knew, you could look at them and you would understand like they don't stand a chance. And it weighed on me. I didn't feel good about it. I didn't want to do that. At the same time, I'm looking at that industry and that industry of real estate, and you have to work your butt off if you want to use that to be your source of residual income. You have to like get a lot of experience. You got to take a lot of lumps. You got to risk a lot of capital, and you've got to do all these things that are really, really hard. And if something goes wrong, it can go wrong in a big way that can really, truly affect you. So you hit it really well. For $50 to get into a network marketing company, like you can go learn all these skills. You can start building a disposable discretionary income, something additional that you can use, and then go get a whole bunch of money, then go invest in real estate the right way. But if you plan on that just being like your lifeline and that's going to be your first foray into entrepreneurship, man, it's just so risky. I mean, a pandemic happens, a riot happens, and all of a sudden that $40,000 you just used as a down payment's gone like that. And people just weren't picking up on that. So that's why I just left. I mean, I sold that business to my business partner about 5-6 years ago. And I told him, hey, you just keep the seminar business. I've got no interest anymore. We're going to go do this because the one thing there, my business partner there, I was doing network marketing and I tried to bring it to him a few times and he was just like that guy you were talking about. He didn't like it. He didn't like the industry. It didn't make sense to him. But when I saw these people that wanted to get into real estate and they wanted to like bleed their savings to work with us or rack up their credit cards, like really, I wanted to grab them and be like, no, let's go do this thing for $50 first and see if you have any skills and you can actually do this the right way. Well, he didn't want that. He wanted, we were in this weird spot because we needed to sell these expensive packages in order, to make money. And he wanted to do that. Plus sales team, our sales team people, they wanted their commissions. They don't get commissions, it's not the same signing up for a $50 network marketing thing compared to a $25,000 coaching package. They make a lot more money on the coaching package. So anyways, sorry for my rant there. You somehow recap something I did there and let's close this sucker out today.
Well, I mean, we can just end on, network marketing. I mean, it's the greatest form of business. I mean, every top business person who is a real top business person who is truly successful endorses network marketing because they just know. They just know that if you can't do network marketing, you're really going to have a tough time in life because you just honestly, it's like you just don't care about people and you're really kind of a selfish person. And so maybe you shouldn't do it. But if you really love people, you care about people, I hate the word give back because it means like you took something from people. You didn't take anything from them. You earned your money, but you just give, and it's very fulfilling to give. I mean, I love nothing that I love more in my life than going to the big events and watch people walk across the stage and then they just look at me from the stage and I start crying like a little girl because, we've just been in the battlefield together of life and we've won. And yeah. It's just awesome. So if you care about people, you like helping people, network marketing's for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Take that one. That is your gold nugget at the end. Get to that point where you get to watch somebody walk across stage and they look at you because you help them do that. And if that's not a winning feeling, I don't know what is. So, all right. Appreciate you guys as always. And until next time, it's the All In Network Podcast. Thanks a lot. Hey, thanks for listening to the All In Networker Podcast. Dr. David Pietsch and I greatly appreciate it. If you receive some value or you know somebody that will receive some value, please share this episode with them. We want to pick up the entire industry, help serve the entire industry of network marketing. We believe that when other network marketers win, we all win. So on top of that, if you'd like to check out some of our free trainings, you can go to allinnetworker.com. Otherwise, please just rate, subscribe to this episode, this podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd greatly appreciate it. And until next time, thanks a lot.